So howdy everybody. I came out today to collect the game cam that we put up. It's going to be part of a new, hopefully sponsored program to install cellular game cameras on high activity areas for either anomalous ancient sites and things, or cryptids, heavy paranormal, whatnot, alien presence, ultra terrestrials, whatever they might be. And I'm just sitting here now at a little probably ancient shrine location, just kicking it, sharing a little bit of tobacco with whoever was here before. I can't give any information on where this is, but it's the site of 7 ancient chambers that have been very well known about for thousands of years, that it just happened to be here in New Mexico at the convergence of 3 rivers in the central area of a new landmass. Those who know, know. So anyway, that's where we are, and just paying a little respect and giving the heads up and detail on what I'm going to do. So I'll show you where this camera is and tell you why it was there. But what it is going to be part of a sponsored program where we're going to get 2 people to sponsor each camera, and they'll actually have full access to the remote cameras themselves. Log in, download the data, have full access to the cloud and everything else. And then in our hopes is to develop a system that shortly we'll be able to live stream to YouTube 24/7. Of course, with a lot of proprietary control and information going to the sponsors themselves. And then we'll give full credit to those sponsors on the screen. We'll also be doing web shows, podcasts, whatever, with the live cameras going, so people can chime in. We can all watch them together, and we'll bring the sponsors of those individual cams on the show. We'll give that opportunity to do that, so they're there with us. But anyway, so we're gonna get this done. We'll carry on, and I'll show you the location where the camera's been put. Okay, I've arrived at the area where we've got the cam placed. I really can't show you this view because I don't need to reveal anything about the location. So this is the spot where the entrance is. And when I say entrance, it's not just to this. There's actually a room deep behind this cliff that is 4 football fields in size, 200 by 400 foot rectangle, with a stack of what looks like gold, 90 feet long, 3 feet wide on the north wall. And this would be one of the actual crawl-in entrances, squeeze-ins through a fault into the upper levels. This room's over 200 feet deep. The upper parts of it are not as deep, within 100 feet actually, and there's an antechamber and some cracks that go in, and they join together into larger kind of fissures, and then those go into the chamber. And this, with scanning and with the old legends, this is one of those places where entry could be made and get into the crack features. And we actually spent a couple of years going through these faults, sliding in them, and back in here is where I filmed what we have the video of called The Unknown Creature, because something dropped down. I was down in here back a ways and in another layer, and something dropped down next to me in another hollow area. I didn't even know there was a void over there, but I could see it through the crack when it dropped down. Obviously there was enough room for the creature in there. So, and we still don't know what that was. But yeah, this is a manufactured way of making basically tunnels, but they move the big rocks, the 100-tonners, slide them, and then slide a cap over the top. And these go back a couple layers, and they go several layers deep. And one crack I was in, I was able to squeeze. I was able to squeeze into it, and it had been collapsed in the back, and it was so narrow that I could hold my breath and get wedged in the walls. And ahead of me came a rattlesnake and came out of the crack ahead of me, so I actually had to lay horizontal in the crack, push myself off the floor, wedge in a little bit, and let the snake crawl out and crawl beneath me and past me before I could let myself back down to the floor. So you never know what you're going to find down in here either, but yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So this is our cam placement that we were streaming the other day. You can see it here. What I'm going to try to do is show you a view of the antenna setup without revealing too much. So you can see that's how we've got the antenna on the cam of a remote deal, and then it's just leveraged up here with some rocks. So the intention is with these cameras is to, like I said, to transmit this through the cell system and end up providing 24/7 live reconnaissance on spots like this, where there's also, I mean, this is the first place I actually filmed my Bigfoot, the big one in 95, just up river a while. This is also about 1,000 feet from where I got nuked by a chrome ball, lost half the hair in my head for 2 years. It's still thin on that side, even my eyebrows, eyelashes, mustache, beard, everything gone off one side. Like I said, by a chrome ball in the sky, which now is getting all popular, but this was back in, I think, 2000 when that happened. But what we want to do is get cams on these locations and have it where people, I can't view them all the time or whatever, but have it where people can actually watch these things streaming on YouTube, if not 24/7, a good portion of the time. And the only way we can really pull that off is if we were able to get sponsors. Now, by sponsors, I mean somebody who would make an initial investment to help acquire the cam. We set them up, we put them out, we do everything, maintain them, and the sponsorship would basically pay for the maintenance on the cell service and on the cloud storage. So we can do a 1-week cloud storage, a 30-day cloud storage, and we're hoping to get 2 sponsors per camera. We really can't carry any more than that, but the sponsor would actually get a link directly into the camera, get a copy of the app, get everything. It would be just like their camera. They can go download files, go all through the cloud system. They can watch the camera 24/7. They also will receive notifications. If anything gets in front of the camera, it will ping their phone, give them a notification, they can go check and see what it is right there. And so basically the 2 sponsors per cam will get full access just like they own the cam. What we do is we know the locations to put them, and we agree to put them in deep in those locations and make sure that we've got cell reception and get to keep the cameras working. So like in this spot, this is a worst case scenario. There's almost no signal here at all. And with a little remote antenna, I was able to use this on a few live streams, even though it would come in and out. So we need to go ahead and get a little signal booster set up as well, whether we have to build them in-house or whatever. But the sponsorships need to cover those costs, because that's something we just can't afford to do, but we want to provide this service out to the people. And in the future, with like a dedicated phone per camera or whatever, or with maybe some good software, we can stream all those cameras to YouTube 24/7. And just imagine what potentially could come up with that many eyes watching. So this is a really good opportunity. And I think what we'll have is probably a members level or Patreon level underneath the sponsors. That'll give people a chance to go in and review footage that either the sponsors, myself, have put up, as well as monitor the live cams even outside the YouTube platform if we can. We'll work within it if we have to, and let the members and the patrons have the ability to sit and watch these live cams 24/7. So if you would like to sponsor a cam and work with us, go ahead and you can PM me, DM me. You can email me at exploreitall@hotmail.com, and I can, you know, get you hooked up in the system. And the more sponsors we get, the more cameras we could get. And like I said, we're gonna have cameras on areas like this, which basically anything could happen, or like in our GLST research area, where we know an active group. We studied them since 2010. So we're well aware of their activity and their presence, and they're aware of cameras and people as well. But you know, the potential for catching something is really off the charts there. So even the audio should really be out of hand. And these cameras will transmit audio. They will actually, I can talk through the app, or any of the sponsors can, and it'll actually be broadcast out here in the environment too. We're gonna try not to mess with a lot of that. But that way I could like play a flute or whatever and just broadcast that from the camera and build curiosity. But either way, we're looking for sponsors. If you're interested, hit us up, let me know. I mean, you can find me on Facebook, and we're basically everywhere, so just take a look. On KRYDERexploration.com, you contact us through there. But we're going to get back into the cryptid stuff pretty heavy. I got disgusted for a while, not with the people per se or the crowd per se, as most are, but more with information being withheld by the idols, and you know, catching a lot of gruff, I would say without basis, by people who are just really staunch, and their eyes aren't very open, I guess, and they want to put meaning to things where there's no meaning, and then they want to hide from the truth when there is some to be looked at. So I was just inspecting the cable while I'm pulling the cam, and noticed some really crazy damage on the antenna cable. It doesn't look like rat chewing. It looks more like it was shaved with a knife blade if you look at it. And this one goes all the way through the interior copper conductor. So basically made the antenna non-operational. Must have happened in the last day or two since it lost service. Pretty wild. Okay, well, we're packed up and ready to go. Wind is absolutely howling out here, so I'm gonna do it right now. We've got camera all ready, everything's going. So whoever would like to sponsor one of these, like I said, hit me up in the links below in the description, or you can email me at explore_it_all@hotmail.com. I just want to say thanks for watching. Thanks everybody, and let's hope we can get this new year going with some really new cool tech. Just want to say, if you like this content, go ahead and hit that like button for me. It really helps the channel more than you ever would realize. And if you want to stay up to tune to what we're going to put out here in the near future, make sure to subscribe. If you don't hit that little bell and say notify me, they're not going to tell you anyway. So okay, follow through with this and show you more. So I just wanted to add that I also found a nice chunk of gem grade dinosaur bone along this little travels. I didn't bother to film the recovery, but here you go. And I'll be up for selling that piece. If you want it, contact me, and be real reasonable, just to help cover expenses for the day. But cool, thanks.